Howdy here from Tenge Productions. So, we're looking at a film wagon, something that will probably survive what I'm going to do to it. It was brought to my attention that Jeep has, in the Rubicon series, they have a button auto assist for locking and unlocking the axle for off-roading. It seems like the differential balance of these things might be a little different, but it looks like it's quite not the cheapest assembly, but most of these come in the Rubicon series of Jeeps or other vehicles, and I figured I had to go for the punchline where that's the one thing. I guess I can switch out a couple of engines. It doesn't really matter over the years, but you know what I mean? When it looks like that's what I'm going to need to be able to get to where I need to go, I think I actually went with the axle more than I went with the engine, which is the first time in history. But so being able to lock your axles means when you lock them, it just locks into four-wheel drive. The axle is just a straight bar, and it can just literally go over, you know, foreign terrain, mountains, ranges. Now, in 35 years of film, okay, 35 years of filming, a camera in my hand every day, and even these phones, I have never been able to produce with a handy cam surviving it, the top of an off-road mountain, not once. 8 times the vehicle made it and the camera didn't. So I've still yet to obtain and produce that footage. I don't know if I'll ever make it in my lifetime. Some of these places, the other thing is you're going up a steep hill, about 45 to 55 degree angle. It's snow. You got studs on. You can even use chains. It doesn't really matter. And the engine will chug. And then the problem is if I tow a trailer with the film equipment on it or a probable SUV, then if I miss, I buckle backwards with a trailer and fall off a mountain. So, getting a handy cam to those heights for those shots looks like it's a pipe dream pretty much, but I'm looking for the assembly to make this possible, and in 4K resolution, there'll be some stunning footage if I can get it. Ain't that the life though, man? When you look and you're like, mankind's ingenuity. They always think they got it all figured out, and then you look and you point at that, and they go, "What?" And that's about it. You know what I mean? I live in a place where it's steep and inclined terrain and mountaintop and stuff like that, and being able to just straight axle over a forest is not very common. But I mean, I only do those shots maybe once a year, and it's just blueberry patches that are high up on a mountain. I go up there for blueberry patches high up on a mountain, and making it there, I've never made it. No one's ever really seen the secret spots that I've got. They're mainly just forest and incline, and the only thing that's ever made it there is my shoes. And then I thought it was kind of funny. I looked at like Bing for the AI this morning. I was like, I was like, I was like, off-road vehicle or off-road vans is what I was looking for, right? Like a filmer van, but like off-road. And the only thing it pulls up is Van's shoes, and I was like, I had to say it. I was like, you know what? Those are some off-road vans. You know what I mean? That's all it is, man. There was one film that was ever produced. I want you guys to check it out. It was amazing. It was called the Destruction Van, and these dudes took rental vans and they would drive it over every possible obstacle known to man, trying to get the footage for like skateboard parts and stuff like that. And probably one of those tear-jerking moments from the skateboard community where it was like, you have no idea the punishment that a skateboard filmer can put a vehicle through. And it kind of presents a challenge for like automakers because they think it's kind of funny, because we're the ones who beat the shit out of ourselves and we just do it. But we're also kind of like those frontline journalists that when you got a 120-mile-an-hour windstorm, I've got footage of that on my reel. I've got trees snapping in half, throwing down 500 footers. You know what I mean? Like it's just the whole neighborhood's torn apart. There's just leaves and brush and everything, and we're the guys who go out and film that. And that's what we do. I mean, that's just. I mean, you might say it's dangerous. Yeah, it's dangerous. Um, but that's what allows you to see that if we make it back. You know, I've made it out some places where I'm like, this is going to be the best footage ever, and I never made it back. I never even made it to the site. I've had that happen more times than I can count, actually, where it's go out and get this just mind-boggling footage. 30% of them end in failure. 30% of the shots that you need, you never get. I can say that with pretty well accuracy at this point. That's 35 years with the camera in my hand every goddamn day. Every goddamn day. It's like the batteries will fail, or the vehicle won't make it in or out, or the camera died, or the film we forgot film, or what I mean. It's just live. So we're gonna attempt to do some research on vehicles with straight axle for forest mobs, and that's just off-roading in the expanse of Alaska, and see what we can find, because most of your like vehicle off-road packages are pretty much they go into the Jeep Wrangler series. Jeep Wranglers are nice. They're nice. Um, Most of them are, pretty cool vehicles. They don't require a lot of equipment, and they don't throw your equipment around like other vehicles. Like I was looking at the Ford Transit, and I look and I go, man, if I don't secure this shit on both sides, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of my camera, and then my camera's not gonna make it. And for a cameraman, it doesn't really matter what makes it, like it's the footage first. If you can't get the footage, then no one gives a shit, you know. And I put my faith in some brands and some vehicles. My Jeep only made it after the second engine. Made it once, and I didn't have the camera in the car, and I was like, "Why?" you know. And then some kid that day had put sugar in the gas tank, and it smelled like burnt marshmallows up a mountain. And I was hauling ass too. You got to go super fast to just climb this hill just to make it up there. And by the time I got it up there, I was like, "Ah, it's just me, whatever." So I just climbed the mountain. I took a couple pictures of the top of the mountain. I put them on Instagram. It was me at the top of Flat Top Mountain, and that's all. That's all I got. That's the only battery I had. It only had like 5 seconds of battery left, and that's what I got. I got a couple of pictures. That's all. It was me, all-terrain vehicle. The weirdest part was I had to climb the entire mountain, and then I had to scale it back down. And back in the day, I was able to do that in 6.5 minutes. And at, what was it? I think I was 38 when I did it. And at 38 years of age, um, I was able to climb down that sucker after that in an hour and a half. So it went from 6.5 minutes with gloves bombing a hill back in the day with like the old Nokias and a little power shot. You know what I mean? That's like one of these. These are traveler cameras. Okay. Traveler cameras are great. They're not the highest resolution. They're simple, but they're double A's. You can take them anywhere, right? So if you run out of batteries, you always just grab a new pack. You know what I mean? And then you don't have to. You're not locked to the info lithium kind of stuff. And these are just nowadays. You might find one in a decent resolution that can just point, click, and snap. But then these things get beat up. They get beat to death. You know what I mean? But these are just your little pocket traveler cams. I always recommend these. This is an older version. This is a 5 megapixel. That's how old that is. You know what I mean? They haven't made these in years, but 5 megapixel, only a 4 optic zoom. You're not going to get the top of a mountain peak with this thing. You get like berries and macros and cool little bugs and shots. But they're beautiful macros. Canon's made these for years. And this is the old PowerShot A530. It's an old A530 PowerShot. And only 5 megapixel. It's the absolute bare minimum resolution that anyone can use for, like, I'd say, what do they call those? Brochures. So, like brochure photographs, you can use them for brochure photographs. Other than that, maybe tiny little web images. The processor back then would get kind of cold even with double A's. So once it was below about 18 degrees, your batteries are every 5 minutes. It's like every 5 minutes. And then they switched to lithium double A's, and those ones you get a couple hours out of. You get a couple hours out of those. And then once the bitter cold sets in, man, it's sorry, you know, sorry, that's expensive. And that's all it really is. You know what I mean? But with the canisters, modern day, I was wondering if they was going to make one of these. I was wondering if a 9 volt would work better on a PowerShot. This is just a suggestion, because they have infilithium 9 volts now. So if you could pump in a can and lock it, that might be pretty sweet. But those ones are the cameras that are designed to be thrown around and they tumble in your bag and that type of stuff, and you still get the photographs. Modern day, more filming, it's crazy, you know what I mean? And then the girls I got to drag along, you know, they're not exactly thrilled. Let's just say they're not exactly thrilled, because most of them are like, we have to deal with kids and we have to be adults now. And I'm like, this is adult, man. I got to show the world for what's going on. You know what I mean? If there's a hurricane coming, I'm the guy you throw into it first. You know what I mean? Like, I got to warn these people. You know, what's more adult than that? You know, so anyway, this is my broadcast for today. We're going to be researching straight axles and keeping people informed. I believe that's a high venue for what's taking place, and it's a tough job, but somebody got to do it. Tenge Productions. We'll see you soon.